Hey there, everybody. It's Mike Delisio with another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, the board game, coming to us from Blacklist Games. This is for 1 to 4 players in 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I am not terribly familiar with this intellectual property. If I mispronounce something, if I say something that is incredibly ignorant, then I do claim ignorance. It is not out of malice. I do not know this IP very well. The village of Konoha is under attack, and it's up to you and your favorite ninjas to save it. Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, the board game, is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players based on the hit anime. Take on the role of Konoha's greatest ninjas as you work together to battle dangerous villains who are determined to bring the village to its knees. Use your ninjas' unique powers to defeat these villains and their army of minions before they can realize their nefarious schemes. All right, well, a cooperative game. I don't know that you necessarily need to be familiar with the IP if you like cooperative games, but I imagine it's going to heighten your experience if you are a fan of this intellectual property. All right, so talks about the setup here. We've got an illustrated example of the setup. The gameplay: the ninjas lose if either any ninja has 0 health tokens remaining, or the Konoha health marker reaches 0 on the track. The ninjas win if they reach stage 2 and defeat the villain. The game's broken up into a series of turns, going clockwise, starting with the first player. Each turn, the active player first takes back any cards that they had flipped down on previous turns. Then they perform a ninja phase and an enemy phase. Each turn consists of 3 steps in order: return chakra, ninja phase, and enemy phase. And then it goes, and that's basically what I just said. The chakra is turning your face down cards back into your hand. And then on the ninja phase, you must play exactly 2 ninja cards from your hand. You have to resolve them before doing the next. And they talk a little bit more about that. They give you an illustrated example of that, which is nice. And then the enemy phase begins. So you do your stuff, and then the enemy is working against you, as you tend to see in cooperative games. And they go into a lot more detail about the ninja cards. Movements and attacks are involved. Restoring health. There's something called echo abilities, which again may be familiar if you are familiar with the anime. They talk about the enemies here, how to defeat the villains. There is also a solo mode. It says if you're going to do that, you have to control at least 2 ninjas. And you've got different missions here. Mission looks like up to 5 missions. All right, let's take a look at the components here. We've got some cardboard tokens, which seem to be fine. They are, certainly passable. I mean, they're not mind-blowing, but they're also they don't seem to be substandard. Here we've got our acrylic standees, and I am a fan of acrylic standees in general. I do tend to think that they're a nice compromise between minis, which are pricey and need to be painted usually, and cardboard standees, which are fine, but I don't know. These are just a step up. I do like the acrylic standees. To me, it's a good thing. Here we've got some custom engraved dice. These are very, very bright. They're kind of like an iridescent pink with some white engraved faces. So those are kind of cool. And we've got some cards here. These are I'm assuming the ninja cards, I think they were calling them. So we'll take a look at those. It's a pretty big deck of cards there. There are also some mini-size cards, it looks like. So let's take a look. Here we've got some allies cards. We've got Sakura, a senior ninja, and Shikadai. I feel bad if I'm messing these up. The junior ninja, Mitsuki, Sarada, and Boruto. So let's take a look at these cards. Again, if you're a fan of this intellectual property, you probably are going to like seeing these things that are familiar to you. The cards seem relatively simple, just a little bit of iconography, a small amount of text in some cases. I am assuming, although this is very much an assumption, that they are just using pre-existing art from the show. And whether that's a good, bad, or indifferent thing is really going to be up to you. I don't again, with no real connection to this IP, I don't have a strong preference one way or the other. I mean, the art seems fine. I'm assuming it's just, again, the art from the show. So if you like the art from the show, you'll likely be happy with that. Let's look at these small, mini-size cards. Main Gate, Uzumaki Home, Lightning Burger. Oh, so these are just locations on the board, I believe. I'm not seeing a board. I'm assuming there's going to be one here in a moment. I thought they were referring to a board at one time. It might be hiding underneath these villain kind of boards, it looks like here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That looks like a folded board. So first, let's look at these. Stage 2, Koji Kashin. Stage 1, the Vessel. The Inner Shell. Shin Uchiha. And the Otsutsuki clan. All right. Let's take a look at the board before I pull it out of its insert. So this is a pretty small board, okay? Quite small, but it looks like there's really only these 10 locations, and it looks like you're traveling from one location to another along those dotted lines. And there's a little tracker here, so maybe you don't need to have very large of a board. It's going to keep your play area down to a minimum. I don't know if you have to have several of those standees out. That might make it a little bit cumbersome, but that, again, that is an assumption. It may not work that way at all. All right, well, again, I think fans of this intellectual property are going to be curious about this at least, and perhaps excited about the chance playing a game in this world that they have likely been reading about or watching for a while. That is Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the board game. Thank you for watching another Dice Tower Daily Unboxing.